Good morning. We'll officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Thursday, August 25th. Join us for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Kirschner will lead us with the prayer.
Okay, please join me in a short prayer here. Heavenly Father, thank you for a beautiful day outside. Thank you for the bit of precipitation we got. Please guide us and have us do what is in the best interest of those whom we represent. We ask this in your Son, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Stacy.
Here.
Commissioner Zoller is absent. Commissioner Kirschner.
Here.
We'll have the signing of the journal, and I'll accept the motion to approve the DVD recording of our previous session, which was Tuesday, August 23rd, and the written index.
So moved.
I will second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Say approved. Do we have any adjustments to the printed agenda before us?
Yeah, the only thing that I'd like to have a short discussion on is the IT grant/loan from what's proposed. Is that coming up? I guess it's under old business.
Old business?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Stacy?
Nope.
Tanya?
Not other than the resolution that's already mentioned in there.
Just put down the Joint Justice Center. Okay. We'll go with, start with the old business, and on the Joint Justice Center, just so we have a leadership team meeting today.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, at noon. So it's our regular monthly meeting. Seems to be action over there, so we'll get an update on how things are going and so forth at noon. And
We
that's
have
in
a
the
sewer.
Public Safety Building.
I think we have a sewer route.
We have a sewer connection and route, that's a good thing. Gotta do that dirty work first, right? All right, that's it on that, unless anybody else has anything else for Justice. Okay, the IT,
The only other thing is that we talked about the bid opening process for the GMP or for Gilbane.
Okay.
Uh,
Holly said we'd get an update today.
Okay,
yeah, that's
sure.
what you have at the meeting.
Okay, we're just gonna talk about the procedure and that kind of thing as to what they do. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so we'll figure that out today. All right, good
Yep.
enough.
Okay, IT grant loan,
Well, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with this. I know you guys are meeting tomorrow. Your committee's meeting tomorrow?
No,
or
just.
IT's meeting
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
As I think we're aware, we have been approved for the $500,000 loan underwritten by the ESC. There is also a grant that we missed out on the last round, but they're going to reapply for in November, which would bring everything together. The cost of tying things together is about $1 million for the county and the city, and the laptops for the sheriffs, et cetera. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, given our discussions before, that we're moving forward with this, if there isn't any question about this is what we want to do.
you know, the last question our committee had when we met was that without getting the grant, we weren't sure
Yeah.
we were going to be able to move forward or even utilize the loan. The loan is sitting there waiting to be used, right? We're approved for
Right.
that. But we thought unless we got the grant, we needed to be revised and revamped completely because it wasn't gonna be enough money, or figure out how we we're gonna have money. for all
Well, yeah, the only thing I want to make certain of, I did meet with Mr. Gavoli today earlier, is that the grant application is very specific to what we can spend money on, and the loan money is a bit more flexible. So I just want to make certain that we don't expend, if you will, any of the loan money prior to getting the grant, so we can make certain that we apply the grant money as it calls for within the context of the grant. I do have the grant application here.
Yeah. When does that go in?
I don't think it has went in.
No.
It's
It's not due
The
yet.
original grant, we did the first round.
Right.
When
And we
And
were
that's when
just-
we were short,
Right.
just a little short
Yeah.
in that amount. But DeVoley did go down and talk to them on Friday. He called me on Monday, and he explained to me is that we could use the loan money now and still use it as the match for the grant and still go after the grant in November.
Right.
So that was good news because we thought we were going to lose the loan, and if we wanted to move forward with the loan, use it at all, we needed to do it quickly. So he did verify when he was down there last week that we could move forward potentially. And I know our IT needs to get back together now to make a recommendation to the board that, you know, we either move
Sure.
forward with this. We've been talking about the, you know, the.
So if we
network.
do that and we don't get the grant, then we're where we were at when we got denied the grant the first round, is that we're gonna have half the money. So we're gonna need a plan A and B,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this-
our committee.
Right.
Because if we go ahead and take it and use it for the match, for the application, we then have drawn the loan, and we'll, you know, like I said, we're just gonna know what our plan's gonna be, because incorporating the city into some of that, like I said, that's not all us.
Right.
That's some of that's city.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't confused and that we're all on the same page with what we're doing going forward. So we have been taken care of as far as the loan agreement goes, and that has been approved, and we do have that available to us. The grant, second round, goes in November, and that's the one that's specific as to what the uses are. And it appears as though the percentage is pretty high that will be approved, because we were just short the last time, but you never know. But so it's $1 million project or thereabouts. I want to make sure I understand. Are we going to start to spend some of the money from the loan in anticipation of receiving the grant as well?
I think the recommendation, which we'll have to get back together,
Yeah.
but the recommendation is gonna be to use the loan regardless, but don't use anything that we're asking for the grant. Don't pay for anything, don't get anything started that would include that. Like, we could start working on the network
Okay.
and then use the loan for that portion, getting all the buildings connected. And then with that, it's very specific that we get a certain amount, a certain equipment, there was laptops, there was servers, it's detailed about what we were getting with that, requesting for that grant.
Right. The grant's very specific and the
Yeah.
loan's a little flexible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to get our committee together pretty quick, because this is the first I knew that we could use the loan as.
And I just found that out this week.
Okay, so I didn't know
And
that.
I thought the meeting tomorrow was your committee, but it's.
Yeah, I just meeting with the city's IT.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Very good.
Okay,
That's all I
good. All right. Nothing else for old business? Begin with the new, or Mike, did you guys want to go now?
Whenever
We don't have a
works
lot of
for you.
resolutions, but hey, we can,
Sound good?
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've got to ask you a question first, Commissioner Stacy.
Peaches are gone. Is it the
What's
question
gone?
is about
Peach-
peaches?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I remember the pickles, but, well, no, it's, this Sandusky County Fair is going on now.
Yes.
Do you still get like tents at this time of year when you were presidency of the chamber? It's like,
And just need to go to the fair. Actually, I've been working Gates, the fair, for the Old Fort Lions Club.
ah,
So I was
okay.
there yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, but it's a little different than that responsibility, that big tent
That's
with all
right.
the businesses.
I get that
and-
fill at our fair, yeah.
We try to have spend as little time in Sandusky County as possible. We need the administration of Seneca County right now.
Perfect. No, I just remember two-a-day football practices in high school and college. It took me like 8 years after that to not stress out in August. I thought maybe you were having the same withdrawal. Well, thanks for having us. I just wanted to give you a brief update, and I brought some show and tell today. Carolyn Rodenhauser, our new regional talent acquisition manager, and Chase Eikenberry, who's been with us since November, the Regional Growth Partnership. And you knew her when she was with the governor's office for many years. Just want to give you an update on some of the projects that we're working on in Northwest Ohio with the Regional Growth Partnership. We have an excellent working relationship with SIDEC here, always had. David Zach, of course, Bryce sitting behind me here. I turned around and asked him how he's doing. He said, I'm very busy. And that's good, because there are good things happening in Seneca County. Just to give you an idea on the number of activities that the Regional Growth Partnership works on in conjunction with the local economic development organizations like SIDEC. And also Renee over in Fostoria. I know Chase spends a lot of time with her on projects. Last year, we worked on 104 projects, which combined totaled $1.89 billion in capital expenditures. So that was a lot of money. Now, we had some big projects there. The Oregon Clean Energy Facility that was $800 million was in there, and some other big ones like that. The nice thing is there were 4,300 jobs created as a result of these projects, and over 17,000 retained. And that retention number, when a lot of times people think, well, is that as important? Well, it is, especially with the workforce issues that we have today. Companies are investing in their businesses, which means they're going to stay, the people are going to continue to be employed, and that works out very nicely. So to date, as far as the first half of 2016, just got these numbers this morning. There are 23 projects that we had helped work on, $618 million in new capital expenditures for Northwest Ohio, and 1,300 new jobs being created. The interesting fact is we're behind a little bit. We wanted to be about 40 projects right now, but usually Q3 and Q4 is when they come in heavy. And this does not include Daimler Chrysler. Their $700 million announcement with 700 new jobs. So that came after these figures were added up. So we continue to go out and work with the local economic development organizations on business retention and expansion efforts. We had the site consultants come in again this year. I know I mentioned it the last time I was here. This is our 4th year that we did it. We get nationally known site consultants from throughout the country. We bring in for 3 days and show off the 17 counties. Just to remind you, we started up in Ottawa County, Sandusky, Seneca, over to Crawford, and on the south end, we go over to Wyandotte County, Hardin, Allen, and Van Wert County, and fill in those 17 counties, and that's the area that I'm always talking about here. So we're getting out and meeting with a lot of, the biggest thing we've got going now, which I like to mention, is the multiplier campaign, which means we're going out, and Commissioner Kirshner, you can appreciate this, we're going out to banks, attorney firms, accounting firms, commercial lenders, or commercial realtors and so forth, because a commercial lender is supposed to see like 3 businesses a day, 5 days a week. Financial institutions have several of them on staff, and they're working with customers. What we want them to know is that the resources that they have with the Regional Growth Partnership and Jobs Ohio are tools that they can use when they're out working with them. I always think about the president of one of our larger banks in Northwest Ohio told their lending officers, I want you to be a total solutions provider, just not a guy or woman that goes in there and lends money. So use the resources that the Regional Growth Partnership, Jobs Ohio. So we're going around and meeting all of these different individuals that have clients that they meet on a regular basis, just to let them know. Because we've got about 99 things in our pipeline right now. They're not all going to be projects by the end of the year. They're all leads, and obviously some of them will drop off, but we've been very, very busy. So what I want to do is end with that. Obviously, if you have any questions, be happy to answer those, but I'll start with Chase, our project manager that works with Seneca County here, to talk specifically about this county, what's going on, and then Carolyn will talk about the new talent acquisition program that the state of Ohio, Jobs Ohio, started just a couple months ago.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So, like Mike said, David and Bryce are keeping me very busy. You guys know this because sometimes
Likewise.
it's all fun too, right? Right. So we have, I believe, I was trying to count up this morning on my drive here. I think right now I have 5 active projects in Seneca County. Where a company, a manufacturer or industrial company is investing in new machinery or equipment or planning on hiring new folks, or both. So I know you guys are familiar with the Church and Dwight project, seeing as that is finalized now. So that was our first project that we got to work on as a team, and that project went exactly the way you would. It was kind of like an ideal project because David and Bryce They got word from the company that they wanted to do something, and then they got all of the stakeholders together. They got all of the partners together. From the beginning, we sat around a table, talked through everything, and then we went back to the company and provided them with what ultimately ended up being a pretty comprehensive offer from Ohio and Seneca County to make sure that they made that investment here in place of New Jersey. So it was kind of a really cool story. So most projects that we're working on now with them are working like that because we had so much success with that. So it's key when we have strong local partners. It makes our Jobs Ohio side of things run so much smoother, and it's faster for the company. So that, I mean, you guys know, they don't want to spend time and have meetings with us. They just need to know what we can do for them to make sure they can continue to move on with their business. So it's going great. We're out doing BR&E visits with Bryce and David. They tend to loop in the Regional Growth Partnership a lot when they go and visit companies, so that's very helpful because part of that, we can identify the needs, or if there's a project, sometimes we just uncover a project. So it's really helpful. That's a great partnership that we have, and most often we have lots to talk about with the company, whether it's a regulatory concern, as you guys know, or maybe they need some road work, or maybe they're investing and they need to, in order to invest, they need to hire all these people. Well, where are we gonna find the people? You guys always hear this, you know, we need to put people to work, and that's one of our main goals, is to try to help fill the jobs. So with that, Jobs Ohio's hired a talent acquisition manager who works directly with the local stakeholders in the 17 counties, stakeholders being a lot of folks, and I'll let Carolyn talk about that. But we've been looping her in on some company meetings now, because obviously that's what we hear from companies. You guys all hear it, is the workforce concerns, whether it's training or finding the needs. So with that, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hello.
So I've been on board a little over 2 months probably. So, and I come from a background, just to familiarize you a little bit, I was a workforce development administrator for Hancock County originally. So, for an OMJ office, and coordinated a subsystem with Wood, Hancock, and Wyandotte counties as their one-stop operator. So I've been very involved in the workforce system itself in Northwest Ohio, and have previously worked on some projects with Jobs Ohio. So when they talked to me about this, I was like, oh man, there's so many issues that I can see that if people were just communicating, that we could probably overcome some of this. Obviously not the cure-all for everything, but I was really excited about this position with Jobs Ohio and Regional Growth Partnership, because of the fact that there are some things that could probably be run smoother, I think, if you had just somebody kind of coordinated, make sure everybody's talking. So we've kind of taken that on the regional side. Our goal is to make sure everybody's talking. You guys have an excellent, I mean, this county really has an excellent, what I want to say, best practice for how it should work. Everybody working together, things work quicker when people are working together, and it's more beneficial for the company, because then they don't lose out on maybe they didn't know about this talent, or they didn't know about this. So we think that that's really a positive move in the right direction. My goal is to work on your larger projects, but I will tell you, we've already talked to Jobs Ohio about some projects that maybe aren't defined as larger, and I think we've raised some attention already just in the short time in working with the project managers, just because we do realize that there is a need for a strong workforce in Northwest Ohio and throughout the state. So we're looking at maybe some creative things that maybe we can do, but our whole focus, some of the things that we can bring to the table that are different from your OMJ operators, Ohio Means Jobs operators, or current workforce folks, is that we can kind of fill some of the gaps. One of the things that I know many times as an OMJ administrator, you can't necessarily use funds for marketing jobs specific to companies because of that role. So that's one thing that we can do. We can focus on that. We can also work on finding the talent and working with throughout the state, throughout the region at finding talent. And they've told us, don't just look at marketing in the region, but maybe we would be marketing in conjunction with another state, promoting, our jobs in our state and our region to other states and other nations possibly, just based on whatever that need is. There are investors, as we all know, that come from other countries, so there may be some things that we can do on that route too. So our whole goal is to streamline the screening system, streamline how the employers are working with the state itself, and we're getting a lot of, I think for a long time, there's been things that people said, I wish we could do this, I wish we could do this, I wish it was easier to do this in the world of workforce and talent. And I think that's our goal, is to just try to make that easier for the businesses. And another thing that we've been asked along the way is, what's different between workforce and talent acquisition? What's the difference there? Many times, and you're kind of even finding this more so now, the workforce offices are focusing more on that individual and getting them workforce ready per se, where talent acquisition is more business focused and getting the right talent for the businesses. So that's kind of, now there may be some overlapping. We're supposed to be working with your OMJ coordinators, with in some communities, a community action commission. They're all set up different in the various counties. But that's our goal, is just to make it easier for the businesses to do business here in Northwest Ohio, in Seneca County, and make it easier for them to get talent as well. So that's our focus.
What the state, Jobs Ohio, have been hearing from companies, there are two main issues. Number one, lack of sites in Ohio for businesses to be attracted to, and number two is the workforce issue, which I'm sure doesn't surprise you. And it's, obviously throughout the whole state, the Midwest, probably the whole country. And so this was one reason. Some of the local workforce development agencies felt threatened when the 6 regional offices of Jobs Ohio hired a talent acquisition manager, thinking that they were coming in to duplicate services. We were at a county yesterday talking with legislators, and Jobs Ohio staff came up, and there was a mayor sitting in this meeting yesterday, and we talked about talent acquisition, and he said 2 things. He was critical. He says, we got Jobs Ohio duplicating services with workforce development. And we sat there and said, well, he didn't listen to a word that we said beforehand, because they're working with the businesses, the workforce development agencies are working with the individuals, finding them jobs. In the point, it's getting pretty nasty, because there's a county in Northwest Ohio that's having a job fair to employ their unemployed in their county. What's wrong with that? All the jobs are in Indiana. So their goal is to make them employed, to help them get employed. What's that going to do with the businesses? Well, guess what? The businesses in that county is a little bit upset, because they're doing what they're supposed to do, is employ these people, but it's not in Ohio, it's in Indiana. So, yes. So anyway, Bryce, you want to add something?
Yeah, I can. So, one, it's great to work with a great team, RGP. They make my job a lot harder, but a lot easier for them. So, it's great though. So, I'm going to go down the line with Chase. So, for example, the value that Chase brings to our team, as well as the county, is connecting us to resources with projects. We talked about the Church and Dwight project. For example, we found out, as a result of their expansion, increased truck traffic. So she was able to connect us with ODOT, And there was a project that wasn't even on Mark Zimmerman's radar for the next few years. We were able to take a project that was $191,000 and bring it down to $21,000 to the county. So what a great savings in partnership with ODOT and ODOT Jobs and Commerce. And
You got some money from ODOT?
hey, like we did. So
Come here, brother.
hey,
I need you.
exactly. So the bucket was there to make that project happen. So that's the savings that we have. And the nice thing is we just had a company visit a couple weeks ago. We met with them, and Chase said, this is what Jobs Ohio can put on the table. She goes, there's another resource we can connect you with who can also bring some more value to the table. So we had a meeting yesterday with that resource, and so she continues to add value to our projects and keeps on, hey Bryce, how's this project going? How's this project going? So it's good. She pushes the pace, and it's exciting. So it's just great to work with her. Mike J's Mike J. So we love him. We don't work with him too much directly, but we've had some great seminars. For example, our certified land. We had a great seminar on food processing and kind of the direction that's going. Carolyn, one of her first visits that she made, company visits, was actually a manufacturer in the area that she partnered with. Carol Owens with Ohio Means Jobs, Seneca County. So, like she said, Ohio Means Jobs there's certain restraints that they can't use monies for. So she met with that company and she says, this is how we can assist you to get the talent you need to be successful and continue to grow. Other value you can think of right now is we're getting ready to kick off and actually next week as COEC. It's a professional sales organization. It's a resource provided to us through RGP. So what this organization will do is we have a goal to reach out to 1,000 companies in Seneca County by our next annual meeting. So this is exciting. We'll be reaching out to companies and assisting us. So if a company wants to grow or they're planning on hiring, we can assist them and point them to the proper resources. If that's Carol Owen, if that's Beth Hanna for training. So RGP they've been a great help for us. They're a great team, and they make our job more exciting and continue growth here in Seneca County. Thanks, guys.
Any questions?
Sure. Well, first of all, from a site standpoint, there was a meeting this morning, and hopefully, I think Mike, but out on Mall Road there, we've got a site that's been certified the highest possible ability for food processing or whatever that rating
Correct.
is, and we're working real hard on that. And hopefully, we'll get some news about that in the future.
They'll be doing drone pictures next week, I think, or a couple of weeks.
You mentioned sites as one of the issues, and
Yeah.
we're certainly working on that. Two, you talk about numbers as far as jobs. I think you said 4,300 last year and 1,300 so far this year, or something like that. What do you have statistics on what the net is? I mean, it's always,
Versus those leaving?
yeah,
and-
right. We always talk about creation and
Exactly, yeah,
retention,
that's
but
a very good
where are we
question.
at this year compared to last year?
Yes, we do have numbers on that,
And,
but I don't have.
well, just in general, are we making headway?
Yes, we are.
So it's a positive number.
Well, yeah, it's a positive number. The issue is there are some businesses and counties that are not expanding because they can't find the bodies. When you look at employment, there's two issues. There's the issues of finding a skilled trade. And I brought this up the other day. If you remember, the skilled trades gap was the term that people were using, is that there weren't enough employees that have that skill. Remember truck driving, welding, that's not the case anymore. They just can't find bodies because you mentioned Terrace State Community College, Northwest, all these different entities can train people to do the work. There just aren't the people there. So the problem is, when you're looking at employment and unemployment, it's so different now today because there aren't the bodies there to employ. But there still are net numbers on, we created 4,300 jobs last year as a result of these projects, but how many ended up going to Indiana
Right.
or out of the...
Well, sometimes I question whether it is creation of new jobs or redirection. I mean, I think there's a significant difference there, but
Those 4,300 are newly created here. They didn't come from other parts of Ohio here. They could have come from, outside, or just people coming into the workforce.
sure.
And so forth. But, yeah, it is a good, because how are we net-wise? Well, you look at your unemployment, and that also helps
Sure.
show you, because if you created 4,300 jobs, but your unemployment went up 3% last year, okay, we got an issue.
Yeah, we always talk about these guys that are no longer looking for work and that kind of thing, but the interest that I would have is what really is the net number there.
Well, and I think we should note that we should also pay attention to the investment number. that companies are making, not only in Northwest Ohio, but in all of Ohio. Because through automation and technology, you know things with manufacturing, especially here, we've seen it through some of our company visits. There's just, you can do things faster, you can do them a lot easier, a lot less labor intensive. And companies are investing in automation and technology as well. So in place of a large, let's hire 50 people, well, actually, let's hire 20, because we can still do this with this new machinery and equipment that we're investing into. So I think let's also pay attention to the investment number, because that means that companies are continuing to grow. They're continuing to provide for families in Seneca County and for their customers, so just another.
Well, I think we're in a position at this point, Mike, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, we've both been involved in economic development for a long time. I on the outside looking in as a chair or whatever, and Mike as a professional. But it seems to me that we are at a place that the sun and the moon are kind of aligned. I mean, we've got good people working in good positions trying to specifically handle certain items, sites, job creation. And we've got a representative, I know now, Mr. Reineke, who is certainly, at least for Sandusky and Seneca County, is certainly of the mode that he wants to create as many jobs as possible, so you've got that pushing for you. And I know that this board certainly is willing to work in any way we can. And please tell us what that is, and I'm sure the folks in Sandusky County as well. So,
Thank you.
please let us know that we can keep our oar in the water going the same way as you guys.
Awesome.
If you see anything.
Okay, great.
My questions are gonna be on the training and education, that got answered, so that continues, with the folks, obviously, more of that is directly to the workforce development folks, probably, to the individual. But there's some of that going on, obviously, the company's coming out to the.
So when Ohio Means Jobs has a big announcement, does the text say OMG, OMJ?
I'm gonna steal that.
Copyright. Yeah.
That's as tech as I get, by the way.
That's pretty impressive, though. Well, great, thank you for having, obviously, we pop in every once in a while, but you've got our contact information. I know you guys are in contact with David and Bryce quite a bit, and their whole team over there, they've got a great team with everybody else. But I'll see, Commissioner Kirschner, if I can get those numbers for you, just.
Yeah, I'd be
to let
interested
you
to
know.
see those, yeah.
Yeah, and probably get that to you today, because I think they're sitting out there. But yeah, number two, and then with workforce development, the number one issue several months ago, 6 months, a year ago, with workforce development was drugs. It's still a problem. Heroin now, a lot of mayors wouldn't talk about it because they didn't want to. All the mayors are talking about now, all elected officials, because they didn't want to necessarily sweep it under the carpet that they want, but it's an issue. That's not the issue now. It's bodies. We just don't have the bodies. So they're not talking about drugs as much as not having the bodies. A year or two ago it was the skills gap, as I mentioned. That's not even the case anymore. It's still workforce, but it's like changing on what that workforce issue is. So we need more people.
Yeah, people. And I don't know if you folks had the chance to meet our regional planning director. She started in April. This is Charlene Watkins.
Hi, Charlene, how are you?
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you.
We're glad to have her on board, and she helps us with a lot of initiatives and things like that, driving things with our transportation improvement district, land bank program, those kinds of things. So, thought we might
Who
want to.
was the regional planning person before?
Roxanne Burris, and then prior to that, Jill Griffin.
Chase, Mike, Carolyn, Bryce, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome to stay, but we won't be offended if you leave.
I thought they'd done those
Exciting,
projects, so I'd
riveting
stay too.
appropriations and supplemental apps we're gonna do.
I'll kind of be offended, but that's all right.
Thank you.
OMG.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, thank you, good to see you.
Okay, thank you.
We can continue with new business then, starting with the bill vouchers.
Which I don't have any, but you said in your email, we're gonna have any.
Oh, well, that
only do checks on Mondays.
Oh, well, then, we don't have any bill vouchers today.
That might be
Don't
a
need that on
record.
Thursday.
I have a supplement to the permit appropriation to the general fund, just putting $87,308.50 into contract services. I'm guessing this is the airport project. I have a supplement to the permit appropriations to the general fund. This is putting $500,000 in our transfers outlined. These are some of the resolutions that need to be done to put the money in place that you guys had voted on Tuesday. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the capital projects fund. Again, the $500,000 that we discussed on Tuesday, moving from general fund to capital projects fund. A resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the general fund. This is for veteran services. They're moving $3,000. And I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the probate computer fund, and they're putting $3,000 into contract services. And those are all the resolutions I have.
I will move for approval.
I will second. Any discussion or comments?
Yes.
Okay.
I was voting.
Call the roll. Got ahead of their asking.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller is absent. Commissioner Stacy.
Yes, approved, thank you. Any other business? Citizens' comments at this time. Do we have any citizens' comments? Charlene?
I just want to remind everybody that tonight for regional planning is the townships, villages, municipalities, and county meeting to discuss the current assessments and proposals to increase assessments. So it's open to the public, and we encourage everybody to come and have the discussion with us. It's at 5:30, the RTA building in the basement conference room.
Cool, thank you. Anything else?
Move for adjournment.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned. It's 10:39.